crap. Okay. This is take 3 of the RV Women Hangout. And the crap was because I keep forgetting to hit record, even though I have hit it 2 other times.
Yeah.
Now I have to hit it again. This is the RV Women Hangout for February 14th of 2015. I am RV Lady, and this is Nana's Joy, and we are your hosts for this session. Any woman who is out there who wishes to join on the panel to either just ask a question or join the panel and provide insight, you're more than welcome to do so, but it's for women only. No men, no small children, thank you so much. And
the men can hang out on the side, chat.
Yeah, and the men can hang out on the side and chat and provide information. That's great. And, you know, between Nana's Joy and I, we'll read their information. But, oh my God, what a pain in the ass this is. Okay, so we have started this twice before, and I don't want to bore anybody by hitting the highlights. What I'll do is okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this subject up next session. And the subject for this hangout was picking out your RV site at either at an RV park or when you are boondocking. And for those of you who don't know what boondocking is, you know, it's driving off in the middle of nowhere and setting up camp. Let's see, what else? I think, and then it's setting up your camp and then tearing it down, picking the right site, blah, 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 and then being able to tear it down. What I'm going to do with the time we have remaining, which is 45 minutes, this is a 90-minute program. So after 90 minutes, we shut it down. And you have to save all your questions and whatnot for the next one. But we do this every Sunday, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Central, or where are we? Eastern.
Yeah.
And I am a full-time RVer. I have been doing this since April of last year, full-time. I really love it. This is a great life. You get to see a lot of things, but it's more than that. It's just fun. You get to meet different people and, you know, see how everybody lives. And it's a different life other than living in a bricks and sticks house. And of course, this is my home, this is my house, and it's on wheels. And anytime that I don't like someplace, I just turn it on and move. And you can't do that when you've got a bricks and sticks house. And Nana's Joy, you can tell us about yourself, Nana.
I'm a part-time RVer. I still have my home, and next year I will winter in my motorhome. This year I'm renting a house, and then I use it in the summer. We take trips, and then we also have put on a seasonal spot. So we're using it right along, but we're not full-time.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's got toys. She's got a boat.
Sometimes they work.
I'll be showing you that boat in future videos. Now, both of us are over on YouTube under the names that you see, Nana's Joy and RV Lady. You can go over to YouTube and watch our videos. I make about one a day or one every other day. And basically it's like what I'm doing or what I'm interested in or something that I think that you should know or, you know, something that I think will be helpful to you and because it's helpful to me. As I said, I've been doing this since April. I have done the Western Pacific coast up into Oregon, and I had every intention of going over to or going down into Mexico for this winter, but it didn't work out. basically because of terrorism. And so, hi Deb, RVing the Dream. Um, so I came to Florida instead, and I'm glad I did. It's actually been pretty interesting for me.
Is that little, look down at the chat, is that one of the little guys that were on there last week? HDM.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I don't have room in my brain for stuff like that. Oh God. I don't care about those little kids as long as it doesn't try to get on. I don't care. I mean, you know, if you can delete them, which I can, you know, for anybody who is in the comment section, if I don't like you or I don't like the way you're going, yeah, you're gone. And we have women only on our panel, and we do this because we have found that when men are participating in hangouts, that sometimes, not all the time, the conversation drifts to an area that we're not interested in. And so that is why we have kept this panel to only women. But if anybody can join over in the comments section, and as long as yes, Patrick, I know you would always behave. But you know, if you do not behave in the comment section, I'll just sit here and delete you. Or you know, Nana's Joy, you can do it too, can't you? Can you delete them? Yeah. Or you could all delete them. All you do is roll your cursor over and it gives you a red X, and all you have to do is just X them out. But I know everybody's going to be really good because we had all the bad boys on last week. Yeah. Now, as I said, what I want to do now is, well, you guys in the comment section, you tell me what you want to do. Do you want to continue on the topic that is today, which is when you're RVing, how do you choose a site? And then when you break down camp, how do you do that? We all naughty women laugh out loud. Time to yes, but we're just not naughty in public. But if you want to continue that, we can continue that. Can you talk about boondocking at rest stations? Absolutely. When, interestingly enough, all the states are not the same. As I've traveled across the country, I've learned a great deal about rest stop boondocking. And A, they're not all level. B, they sometimes have security there, but most times not. The thing that I found in Florida is, or at least where the highways that I've been on, I haven't been on the Turnpike or the Pay Freeway. I haven't been on that, but they are very few and very far between. Texas, same deal, but at least Texas has a few more. And I have noticed in Florida, or it might have been, no, it was Florida. They tell you, well, most of the states tell you where the next rest stop is, okay? Like, next rest stop, 78 miles, okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean that rest stop's open. Okay, and that's the thing that you have to be prepared for, is that sometimes they're refurbishing the rest stops and you're counting on staying at a particular rest stop and it's not open. Now, I'm sure that there are apps for that. And what you might want to do is investigate an app that tells you which rest stops are available. On your paper maps, it shows you where the rest stops are. You know, where they are on the freeway you're traveling. And they do that with a little icon, look in the key and, you know, see what that is. I don't really remember. I think it's a picnic table maybe or something like that. All rest stops do not have facilities. Sometimes you'll pull into a rest stop and it's just parking spaces. There's no water, there's no nothing. Most rest stops do not have internet. You can get no connection. And I think they do that intentionally to keep people from camping full on in rest stops. You will find that some of the rest stops have dumping stations. Not all of them, just some of them. And so you can pull your RV in there and dump your tanks if you need to. Now, an important thing to remember is when you're on the road, why are you pulling all of the crap, and I mean that, and, gray water around with you? Those tanks should be empty, and your water tank should be full. So I have never really come across a situation where I needed to dump my tanks at a rest stop. But they are there, and they have water. Oh, actually, I take that back. I think I did it once. I just don't remember where. I think it was somewhere in California. But they usually have non-potable water, not drinking water, there so that you can rinse out your hose or, rinse up whatever mess you've made. And
don't you usually have to stop early also if you want a spot because the truckers?
Oh, that is another thing that's pretty important. Where the RVs are permitted to park is the same place where semi-trucks park. Okay, they're pull-through sites, and so you just pull into one of those very long sites, shut off your engine, and rest or eat or whatever it is that you want to do. But it's important to know that you're going to be parked next to a semi-truck that may or may not be running their generator all night long. The other thing to consider is, excuse me, is, okay, that thread just went away. What was I going to say, Nana Joy?
Stopping early.
Oh, yeah, stopping early. You'll see that people start filling up the rest stops by 4 o'clock. Okay, if you pull in there at 7 or 8, cross your fingers because there may be no space for you. A good indicator of that is you will see semi-trucks parked on like the side of the road for the exit ramp or the entry ramp for the rest area. And when you see the semi-trucks parked out there, you're going to know that that rest stop is full. And I mean, you can drive through and find out for yourself, but now, are they going to write you a ticket if you park in the wrong place? Who knows? I'm sure that the state police of every state cruise through those things every once in a while. Do they really want you to drive while you're exhausted? Probably not. But you can go to the next exit and pull off there and, hopefully find a place where, you can shut it off and rest. Can an RV do that too? Oh, are you asking me? I see people asking questions or I see question marks. I just don't know what that means. Oh, can the RVs pull over on the side of the road? No.
On the side of the exit ramp or on ramp, how the truckers do that?
Yeah. What the truckers are doing is against the law. You're not allowed to do that. Now, the difficulty for RVs is that they are relatively light compared to a semi-truck. When the trucks or vehicles are going by you and you're sitting on one of those ramps, you're going to feel that and, of course, hear it, but you're really going to feel it. And which isn't conducive to what you're doing there, which is resting, I assume. But RV dreaming, Deb, is saying that 1 hour before sunset. It's a good rule of thumb, 1 hour before sunset. Of course, you have to know when sun's going to set. I usually will start looking for someplace, if I'm just, commuting from place to place, I'll start looking at 3 o'clock and figure out how far, like, the next rest area is. And then go from there.
Well, in the winter, it gets dark by 5:30, 6 o'clock anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what an hour before sunset's a good rule of thumb. The other thing is a lot of the larger gas stations that have services for semi-trucks will have overnight parking. Okay. Sometimes when you get off at an off-ramp, there's a gas station there, and then there are big fields of nothingness. And oftentimes you'll see truckers parking in there, just flat places where you can pull in. There's no security and blah, 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 but lock your doors and you'll be fine. The thing to remember, though, is this. Not, and especially in Florida, not all of those gas stations for semi-truck drivers are pull-throughs. I have seen many of them, and they are back-ends. And when you're towing anything, a boat, a car, whatever, motorcycles, you can't back up. There's no backing in unless you unhook. And that's because you're going to destroy the transmission on your RV if you try backing up with stuff back there. You can see when sunset is on the weather map, on a weather app. And when you're out there, as you get used to traveling and things like that, you'll just know that it's that time of day where it's time to pull in and just rest. Or stay the night or whatever. You'll know what you're capable of, especially if you're commuting. You're going to know what you're capable of.
Now, what's some of the different ones that you can stay at? You can stay at a Walmart, you can stay at a Lowe's and a Home Depot.
And when we say this, we mean most Walmarts, most Lowe's.
Cabela's let you, right?
Sorry?
Cabela's also lets you?
I have found that hotels that are near the freeway exits, they will usually have some kind of street parking sometimes, and you just pull in front of those, and that's usually pretty good. You can get the Walmart app, and that tells you where the next Walmart is if you want to do that. But again, all cities are not the same. All counties are not the same. Not all states are not the same in that they may or may not permit you to overnight in a Walmart or on the street if you are an RV. So these are just things that you want to be aware of before you start down the road that is going to say, oh, okay, now stop and unhook and, go turn around and then.
Right. The Walmarts have no overnight camping, but if you go in and talk to them, sometimes they'll let you.
Okay. I will give you my experience on what Nana's Joy just said, which was I was in Northern California and I pulled into a Walmart. It was a huge, it was like a super Walmart, but the parking lot was ginormous. And so I went to the far end where I wasn't going to bother any of their shoppers. I went into the Walmart because I needed stuff. And I asked the manager if it was okay if I overnighted in their parking lot. And the manager said, yeah, no problem. 2 hours later, well, it was actually about 15 minutes after I went to sleep. So about 2-3 hours later, knock, knock, knock. It's the police. And I cannot overnight in that parking lot because of a city ordinance. However, she was nice enough to say, you can go down 2 exits and get off and stay at that Walmart. But our city, which is Rocklin, California, does not permit overnight parking anywhere in their city. And Rocklin is east of Sacramento, up there. It's important for you when you are commuting from place to place that you have a pretty good idea when you're going to stop. When I'm driving, I don't really drive more than 3 hours. So, I got a pretty good idea where I'm going to stop, what town, what area. And so, it gives me time to look around, drive around sometimes, and see if I can find a place to sneak in. But again, it's all about the city that you're in and the ordinances that they have. And all Walmarts do not welcome RVers. And well, let me rephrase that. I think Walmart welcomes all RVers. I think the locals are the ones implementing the policy that says you can't park in here. And but I think Walmart welcomes everybody. So if you walk into a Walmart and say, and for courtesy's sake, I think it's important that you go into the Walmart, maybe find a security person or whatever, and just say, I'm going to boondock in your parking lot. That's okay, right? Or you can go the other way, which is wait for them to knock on your door and ask for forgiveness. You're not going to get a ticket either way, but going in first and saying, I'm going to boondock in your parking lot, the security person could say, yeah, no.
Yeah. But they're saying also here that Cracker Barrel lets you do it. Of course, the Pilot and the Flying J's, and I think Cabela's lets you do it, and Lowe's and Home Depot. Who else?
Okay, I don't know. Basically, most gas stations will let you stay. If if it got the space to accommodate you. Now, the Flying J's, I don't go there anymore. And the reason I don't go there is because they have real limited accessibility. They don't always have places for RVs to go. And the Flying J's, how they're set up is for semi-trucks, they drive forward or, to the left or right of the convenience store. They stop and fill up their tanks there and, check the air in their tires and blah, blah, blah. And then they go park in the parking lot if they're going to spend the night. If not, then they're hitting the road. RVs, in some of the Flying J's, it says no RV entrance. So that means you have to go where the regular cars park. And space is very tight. And there's something about automobiles and RVs. For whatever reason, cars do not understand that RVs can't stop on a dime. And they don't understand how much space we need in order to get out of the space we're in. And so that's really important, is to be able to get out of whatever you get into. But I've driven into the Flying J's and I wonder how I'm going to get out. Because what they do is they have you pull straight forward into, like, going towards the convenience store part of their thing. And then they allow cars to park in front of the convenience store. So, and the average vehicle car can get out, no problem. But with RVs, you need that big swing out. So, sometimes you can't get out. You have to wait for people to come out of the convenience store and get in their car and drive away before you can leave. So I really am cautious about the Flying J's. There is, whatever the other one's called. What's the other one called?
Pilots and Loves.
Oh, Pilots is good. Pilots always has, roomy things. roomy parking lots, the ability to get around, lots of space. And again, you can park on the curb and at a Pilot's, and nobody cares. But Pilots are really good. I don't have any problem with them. But Flying J's, oh my God, what were these things? But yeah, wherever you see semi-trucks parked, it's typically okay to park your RV near them, or, you know, on that same street or whatever. It is depending on the ordinances of the town. Okay, the semi-truck could be just exhausted, and he says enough. He's got a book that he can pull out and show the officer that he has to rest now, or he's breaking the law. So he has chosen this spot to pull over because it's mandatory. RVers don't really have that. We don't have books that we can pull out and say, you know, I mean, these are like legal books that they have to show when requested at the those scales that they're going through. So, you know, yeah, it's important to figure some of the stuff out before you pull into the parking lot. For those of you who are not towing an additional vehicle, it's still difficult, and it's still something that you have to pay attention to. If anybody has, off topic, little sidebar, if anybody has any questions that they want us to answer, specifically geared towards themselves or to the community, they're more than welcome to write those questions in the, you use a /Q in order to get that question over to us so that we can see it and talk about it, whatever. And again, if any woman wants to pop in and ask a question, more than welcome. Men, I'm sorry, you have to use /K or /Q. But you know, basically what you're doing as an RVer, yeah, Patrick, haha. What you're doing as an RVer is forward thinking. You're always doing forward thinking. And it doesn't matter if you're dealing with cars coming off a ramp, you know, cars that are coming onto the freeway. What are they thinking? Basically, they have no problem not speeding up, but pulling in front of you. So it is constant forward thinking. You know, you can see the cars entering. Now, where are you going to fit in that mix? And then, you know, getting in there or slowing down or speeding up, you know, whatever it is that you want to do as the driver of your vehicle. You know, I cannot tell you how many times I have been cruising down the road and somebody merges onto the freeway and damn near clips me because, you know, I'm either going too fast or too slow, or they think they can slip in. It's usually in front of me. You know, they think they can slip in front of my vehicle that's traveling down the road at 65 miles an hour, and it weighs 15,000 pounds. Bring it on, because you're going to lose, cars. You're going to lose. The accident will be below me. Okay, let's see. Forward thinking. This is the paddy wagon. Forward thinking is a big challenge initially. Does it get easier planning and knowing when, where to park while you are traveling? It's like anything that you do, you will establish a routine or a general knowledge of, you know, like what you're up to. Okay. Driving through cities is a nightmare. It's absolutely a nightmare. You never, ever, ever want to enter a city when there is tons of traffic. I did it in Houston. It was awful. And it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was heading through Houston. It was bad. But basically, blow the horn. They don't care if you blow your horn, Tip. The commuters, they don't care. They just want to go home. forward thinking is something that you get used to doing. It's something that you're training your brain to do. You know, you are alert as a beginner. You're very alert to just about everything. And then you get to the point where when you see cars merging, or you can, and this is the other thing that automobiles do, is when they close a particular lane, like they say, you know, everybody move to the left, or right lane is going to end, or whatever, you know, this becomes a tug of war with passenger vehicles. And so you do what the trucks do, just slow down, let them go by. I'm sure that their mission is far more important than any mission you could possibly conceive of. At least they think so. But you have to be wary of those things. And you'll run into construction zones as well. In Texas, when I was coming through Texas on the 10, oh my God, they were under construction. It was like the whole highway. I sat in one place for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. Just sat there. And, you know, they're either clearing an accident, or they're doing construction, or they've got those big, you know, vehicles that they do the maintenance with or whatnot in the middle of the road. But basically, you just end up sitting there. The nice part about that is your bathroom is right back there. And if it looks like it's going to be a long time, I shut off my RV. I just shut it off. You know, it just, you know, and you can see that on your apps, whether it's a car accident or how long traffic's going to sit. They had an accident. I am in kind of southern Florida, and they had an accident on the 75, which is a highway here, and it shut down the freeway for 5.5 hours. Nobody moved going northbound. Nobody moved. It was backed up for 30, 40, 50 miles. So even when they got it all cleared off, you still had to wait for everybody to turn their vehicle on and pay attention to the fact that they have to move now. You know, all of that stuff. But these are the kinds of things that you run into, whether you're in a passenger vehicle or an RV or a truck or whatever. You know, these, you're going to run into the same situations. You just have to, as an RVer, have to deal with them differently, because you weigh 15,000 pounds. I mean, in my vehicle is light. There are RVs out there that weigh far more than I do. Yeah. And, you know, I just know how much I weigh, so that when I'm driving down the road and it says no vehicles over blah, blah, blah pounds, whether or not I can legally be on a road. And that's when you get into like the boondocks and things like that, where their infrastructure, their bridges are going and things like that, and they just keep heavy traffic off the road. And so that you have to pay attention to those things and know whether or not you can cross safely.
I think what Patrick's new to the RV world, and he's traveling. I think he's just nervous about picking spots and when to get over. I think you're going to have to feel that out, and just kind of like RV Lady said, you know about where you're going to go for the day. Maybe on your lunch break, get on your computer or get on your smartphone and kind of look to see what's there, and that'll help choose.
If you have internet. And you will find that many of America's highways do not provide internet. It's not something that, you know, is accessible. So your smartphone basically becomes a paperweight. And that's when you need to have your paper maps, so that you can look down at the legend and you can see what is ahead of you on your road, whether there's a rest stop, whether there's a picnic area, which they have in Texas. Really funny. No bathrooms, no water, no nothing, just a picnic tables. So, you know, these are the things that, and that's why you need paper maps, quite frankly, is because you're going to be too many places where there's no internet. And rest stops traditionally, unless it's near a very large town, no internet. It's you're welcome, Patrick. Let's see. Does anyone else have any other questions that we might be able to answer? And again, let me tell you that next session that we have, which is going to be next Sunday, we're going to once again attempt to cover the picking the camping site and tearing down your camp. And hopefully 90 minutes will be enough. Because tearing down your camp is so vital that I want to make sure that I cover everything and that I'm not in a hurry and that I'm just talking too fast and not getting it. Tearing down your camp is really, really vital. Because if you do something wrong, like, Patrick, you'll like this one, leave your television antenna straight up.
Yeah. You'll be something. I get it.
Oh, lots of people have done it.
Yeah.
And people beep at them, and when somebody's driving by you and you're in an RV and they're pointing or they're beeping or whatever, that is an indication that you should pull off the road. As safely as you can, of course, but pull off the road because something's going on with your RV that is not, and they know is not acceptable. But there are checklists that you can download from the internet or, apps that you can go through and check everything off, all the things that you do. When you're setting up your camp, you light them all up and then, turn them all off when you're leaving. And there are other things that you can use too. Those little stretchy bands, they're coiled. Okay, I don't really know what they're for, but they're at a dollar store. You can get them for $1 or $3 for $1 probably. But you place those on the items that, you've opened or have to take care of or whatever. The other thing that you can do that I've seen people do is, those things that you slap them and they roll up. Okay, you probably don't. I don't have any idea where you buy them, but what you can do is put reminders on your steering wheel. Like red means antenna. Electricity is black. Whatever it is, because interestingly enough, a lot of RVers will pull away from their RV site plugged in. And it's
in Canada.
You did that?
It was in Wyoming. Yeah, we got all around and we didn't unplug, pulled away, and it was dragging alongside, and we were getting tooted at and stuff, and there it was.
Yeah. And some people drive away without picking up their leveling blocks. That's what those things are called. They just drive away. Okay, I'm on the road. I've started my vehicle, so drive away. So it's a really good idea to look over your campsite before you move your vehicle. Walk around it, look up, look down, look under. You're looking for anything that is out of place. Make sure all of your bins are locked. Make sure you've done everything on your tow vehicle that you need to do. And when you have a tow vehicle, you're doing both. You're making sure your RV is safe and sound and ready for the road, but you also have to do that with your tow vehicle every single time. You have to watch the air pressure in your tow vehicle along with watching the air pressure in your tires on your RV.
I make a sheet specifically to me, what I'm supposed to do on mine. I laminate it and then get dry erasable pins, and I have a box by it, and I just check them off, and then you can wipe it off and do it again the next time.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's really a great idea. Seen a lot of antennas up, yeah. That's one of the things that people forget to do is put the antenna down. And depending on how long you are at your RV spot that you're staying in, whether you're boondocking or you're in an RV park, you get used to seeing it. You know, you're outside, you're used to seeing your antenna up. And so it almost becomes like that's where it's supposed to be. Supposed to be. And so people drive away with them up. So, muy importante to have a checklist, especially if you're new, and have a checklist anyway. I use a checklist because I stay places like a month. Like here, for example, I'm going to be here for 2 months or 2.5 months. And quite frankly, I forget. How do I do this? What do I do? How do I do that? You know, I forget. And so I have a checklist for the Suzuki. I have a checklist for the RV. And I just read down them. I don't actually check them off. So I just read down them. Yes, I did that. Yes, I did that. And that keeps me, because before I had the checklist, many, many, many times I was driving, getting on a freeway, and then thinking, did I do that? Did I? I don't remember doing that. Are you sure you did that? So being obsessive compulsive as I am, then I have to pull over and look. You know, did I put gears correctly on the Suzuki? Did I? I don't know. Did I turn the key on? I don't know. Did I? Did I unhook the battery? I don't know. Did I? It makes you crazy. And so that's why the checklists are really important. I tape checklist to my steering wheel before tearing down. My mind is too forgetful. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Or put your checklist on your driver's seat. You can't sit down unless you get your checklist. You know, that's basically what I do is I put my checklist on the driver's seat along with the extra key to the Suzuki. And what else? I put something else there, but I can't remember what it is. But and I would get up and look, but you know, whatever. But you know, it's more than just getting in your car and routinely driving. You know, what do you think about when you're routinely driving your car? Wearing my sunglasses. You know, in an RV, if you screw up, you can tear the roof off your RV.
Right.
Ouch. And cha-ching. There are you know, a multitude of ways. Whatever works for you. Do whatever works for you. And it's really important that you do that. Let's see. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, I can talk forever. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not forever. Yeah, I can talk a lot. So don't feel like you have to give me questions because I will just make up stuff and keep chattering. This has been great. Oh, Patrick, I need to go now. Okay. Be back next week. Thank you. Okay, that's Patrick saying adios. And thank you for coming by, Patrick. Your questions were very wonderful. And it offers people who are in the same boat an opportunity to see what those answers are without feeling like they're asking a dumb question. And there are no dumb questions, by the way. There are no stupid questions. You have to know all of the answers to all of the questions, even though you don't know what the questions are. You got to know. You have to be that aware. You have to be that robotic, if you will. You know, it's like before I move my vehicle, I check my tire pressure, I check my oil, I check my transmission oil, I check my water, you know, I check my windshield wiper fluid, you know, and I do, along with doing the walk around, you know, I do these things as a matter of habit now. Yeah. But I'll be here in Florida till the end of March. And so by then I will be like, how do I do this again? Caitlin Alexander wants to come in. Oh, good. Somebody to pick on. Yay! Okay, maybe she's not going to come on now that I said that. No, we don't pick on anybody. But come on in, Caitlin. It's 5:27, and because we have had so much difficulty with this particular hangout, I'm going to extend it until a quarter till the hour. So I'm just going to add another 15 minutes. Oh, Caitlin, your connection isn't working.
It's make sure your connection isn't blocked by a firewall.
Yeah, you might be blocked by a firewall. And there are different not operating systems, the Google, the Foxfire, what are those things called? Internet, I don't know. But some of them don't allow you to connect to this for some bizarre reason. And I think Firefox or something like that is one of them. You're right. A mechanical check is just as important as an RV check. You're the only one that's going to do these things. Okay? The days of pulling into a service station and say, hey, can you check my tire pressure and check my this, that, and the other, over. You have to know how to do it yourself. You have to know, you have to be able to have grasp, how many miles can I go before I need to check my oil again? Okay, now when I left Phoenix and started west, I had my oil change just before I hit the road. And so I haven't run the 3,000 miles yet. And I have had to add maybe half a quart. And believe me, when I move this thing, the line is right on with the fluid. I do not say, oh, gee, it's not a whole quart down, so I won't bother now. No, you put it in, you screw the top back on the quart thing, and you put it in your bins. You should always carry oil with you. You should always carry antifreeze with you. You should always carry transmission fluid with you. You should always carry brake fluid with you.
A little extra water for any radiator.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, well, that's the coolant. Okay, I think coolant, but yeah, water for the radiator, which you should use distilled, just in case you don't know that. You should use distilled water because it doesn't have any minerals in it, and the minerals don't get stuck on the inside of your radiator, causing your radiator to eventually fail. Right. So, this is what I'm saying is you have to know what the questions are so that you can find out what the answers are. And there are a bazillion questions. I had some people look weird at me when I am down with a hammer checking the interior dualies to make sure they're not flat. You will see at truck stops and rest areas or whatever, that some of the truckers get out, they have like a bat thing with them, and they're beating on their tires. And what they're listening for is the tone that is wrong, that tells them they're going to blow a tire. Now, the thing you have to remember about semi-trucks is they're mostly, if not all, running on retreads. So they're kind of waiting for the tread to go spinning off, and we've all seen that in the road, truck tire tread. And but RVs, same thing. You have to know your tires well enough, and the way you get to know your tires is by looking at them, checking them, sitting down with them, having a chat, making sure they're okay. And having new tires, making sure that you're not running on what look to be well-treaded tires, but the tire is actually 10 years old, because that tire will go. It is, and that's what happens with RVs, is because many of them sit in enclosed parking areas, blah, blah, blah. They don't move them, whether it's a driveway or a lot somewhere, or RV storage. They're sitting there, and the sun is beating on them, and they will look okay from the outside, but inside the sun is rotting your tires. And so it's really important to, be aware of what your tires are up to. I think the butterfly net squad would come to me if I would do my tires. No, nobody cares. We are in a society that people have stopped looking at you because you're doing something weird. And yeah, I haven't found that to be, a problem. I mean, I stick my head in my bins all the time and I'm looking for a specific thing and I'm chatting away as I'm doing it. Like, where are you? I know you were here the last time I looked. So it's just do whatever makes you comfortable and happy, and get to know your tires, get to know your radiator, get to know your brake fluid, get to know everything, get to know what elements go with your vehicle, because unfortunately we are not in a world of one size fits all, and which would make it too easy. Of course, we don't want to do that. We don't want to make life easy. Let's see. I think we're about out of topic, and it's only 5:33. We've only run over 3 minutes. Does anybody else? We have 10 viewers. Of you 10 viewers, does anybody have a question or anything that they'd like to share? And then we'll just go ahead and close out this session of the RV Women Hangout. Off. Okay, that's the air conditioner. I'm freezing. If anybody has any questions, just write them in the comment section. Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say goodbye for this session of the RV Women Hangout. We'll see you next Sunday at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time, and that'll be the 21st. I have a feeling that's like President's Day weekend. What do you think, Nana's Joy?
I think it's good.
Okay, we'll do it. Because sometimes for holidays, we do not have the RV Women Hangout. And, Valentine's Day doesn't count because that's a Hallmark holiday. And basically we'll cancel them. But, you can always go over to my channel on YouTube or go to Nana's Joy, and you can always ask either one of us whether or not the Hangout is going to happen. Yep. And that's it. So thank you, everybody, for participating. Thank you for your questions and for your attention. And we'll see you on Blab next Sunday. If not, you can find us over on YouTube. Be well, be brave. Bye. Okay. Thank you.